Welcome to Quick Rip. Big B here with you. Hope you're doing well out there, fight fans. Hey, we had BKFC 61 go down Saturday, May 11th. History continues to be made with BKFC promotion as they hit up the Mohegan Sun. That's a famous venue for combat sports. It was awesome to see them there. Main event, we had Jimmie Rivera taking on Daniel Straus, two UFC MMA veterans. Obviously, Straus, I don't think ever fought in the UFC, but definitely an MMA veteran. So, gonna go through the night. It was a good night all around. 10 fights in total, top to bottom. Gonna go through each and every one of them. Start with the main event and work my way down through the card. Before I do get to that, if you're a BKFC fan, go ahead, hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to subscribe here to Bowls, Beers, and Brawls, as I love talking about the BKFC. So let's get right into it here. Main event, as mentioned, Jimmie Rivera versus Daniel Straus. This was a lightweight scrap. Not originally supposed to be the main event. Obviously, Heather Hardy versus Christine Faria was originally scheduled for the main event. Now, that fight's never going to happen. Doesn't sound like it. Sounds like Hardy is retired now. I don't know exactly what happened, but hey, we move on. So here we go. Jimmie Rivera, Daniel Straus ends up the main event. They're at the Mohegan Sun. This one really came down to near perfect game plan for Rivera. I mean, his body shots, his slick movements, and basically his discipline in just sticking to that game plan gave him the unanimous decision victory. Wasn't a super exciting fight, but honestly, we've seen a lot worse inside that squared circle. The co-main at BKFC 61 had Mike Trizano making his promotional debut, his bare knuckle debut there. He was taking on BKFC veteran Louis Lopez. This was a lightweight scrap once again. Trizano gets the fast knockout here. It was a nasty right followed by a left hook from hell. Incredible debut. I have to give my props to Lopez on taking the fight on extremely short notice. I mean, it felt like he took the fight on days' notice. I could be wrong, could have been a little longer than that, but I know it wasn't. I know Lopez didn't have much time to prepare for this fight. I'm not saying that he's using that as an excuse by any means, but it had to have played a factor here. All I can say here, welcome to BKFC, Mike Trizano. We move on to the feature fight at BKFC 61, a bantamweight scrap, I do believe it was. We had the undefeated Ryan Reber. He was taking on Quinton Foy. This was not the fight we expected. The crowd was booing. There just was not a lot of action. Very few combinations thrown even. It was just, I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, don't know what to say about this one. Disappointing, I guess, is the best word I can use here. On paper, I believe Reber should have absolutely destroyed Foy, and early on. And what we got was Reber getting the unanimous decision. The bad news, it was not a great fight. The good news is Ryan Reber remains undefeated, 6-0 now. So, I mean, numbers are numbers. I would have liked to seen more out of him, because, like I say, I do believe that he could have taken care of Foy early on, had we seen some of that classic Ryan Reber we've seen in the past. The lone female fight on the night at BKFC 61. It was a strawweight belt. We had Sarah Click. She was taking on Natalie Gage. And what a scrap here. What an absolute barn burner of a scrap. The first round, Click came out absolutely on fire. The second round, Gage found her way. That was until a cut on Click's eye causes the doctors to stop it. I would have absolutely loved to seen another round or two, um, but obviously, props to Natalie Gage going in there, going to war, and I mean, she gets the TKO victory, doctor stoppage or not. We also saw a light heavyweight scrap between Rick Hahn. He was taking on Steven Stengel. Uh, Rick Hahn, quick knockout here. Stengel got clipped with a beauty of a left 35 seconds into the fight. Knockout for Hahn. You know what? Honestly, the future looks bright for Rick Hahn here. I know he's a decorated athlete, and he kind of reminds me of one of those that can succeed at anything he puts his mind to. So be on the lookout in the light heavyweight division for one Mr. Rick Hahn. We also saw an extremely fun heavyweight scrap at the Mohegan Sun. Zach Kalmus, he was taking on Connor McKenna, and Zach Kalmus, like, holy fuck. Connor, he's as tough as they come. Kalmus basically used him as a heavy bag, and eventually got the third round knockout for the shark attack. And I don't know, it was just a fun fight. I mean, McKenna was smiling half the time when when Kalmus was landing. I mean, many of men would have went down in the first round, never mind lasting to the third. So it was a fun heavyweight scrap, and it's nice to see Kalmus, BKFC veteran, get that W. Opening up the main card at BKFC 61, we had another heavyweight scrap. Patrick Brady was taking on Lewis Rumsey, and honestly, folks, this one was a complete mismatch, as Brady scores 5 knockdowns within, what, a round and a half? It ends up second round TKO for Patrick Brady. Not much I can say. I would like to see Brady matched up against somebody maybe a little bit more game. And I don't mean any disrespect to Rumsey, because anyone that steps inside that squared circle automatically earns my respect. But just different levels is basically what it was. And with that, we move into the prelims. We had 3 prelims, or prelims as BKFC likes to call them. First up, we had a featherweight bout. That was Dylan Fellion. He was taking on Dan Pettit. And you know what? Every dog has his day came true here. Because I believe Pettit, if I'm not mistaken, let me know in the comments if I am, obviously. But I believe Pettit was a big underdog here. And honestly, he almost ran through Fellion. It was wild. It was sloppy, but hey, Pettit gets the third round knockout in that one. After that, we saw a middleweight bout. Pat Casey was taking on Sam Watford. It was an okay scrap. I found it was nothing crazy. Went all 5 rounds. In the end, Pat Casey gets the unanimous decision victory. And the final prelim on the night, we had a cruiserweight scrap. It was Chris Sorrow. He was taking on Scott Roberts. And what the fuck was that? I don't even know what to say here. Sorrow appeared to hurt his hand. He was obviously in pain, but he never said he didn't want to fight. The doctor kind of gave it a squeeze. Now, in all honesty, Sorrow did wince. I mean, there was definitely something broken in there. And the doc wouldn't let him continue. I know it's the doctor's job, and I mean, that's what he fucking gets paid for. A lot of what he gets paid for is to protect the fighter from themselves a lot of times. But how many times do we see somebody with a broken hand continue fighting. I don't know. A disappointing end to that one, and you know what? Roberts wasn't happy. Sorrow obviously wasn't happy. It just sucked for everybody involved. Basically, is what it was. But overall, fantastic night. A good debut for them over at the Mohegan Sun. I have no doubt that they'll be back there. Looked like it was a good crowd. Crowd was into it all night, from the prelims all the way to the main. And it's awesome to see BKFC continue to skyrocket. And I believe we got an event next week as well. So uh, if I have time, been working a lot, so I haven't had time to put a lot of previews together. But maybe I can get something out and get us a little more pumped, because I think it's Trinidad Snake versus Dustin Peg is the main event, and that has absolute fireworks written all the fuck over it, and I'm looking forward to another awesome night of fights next weekend here. Anyway, I'm done rambling. Thanks for joining me here on my BKFC 61 results and recap, Bowls, Beers, and Brawls channel. Till next time, everybody, take care and peace.
I think the trip and fumble over the train. I ride and wonder how we had all these things.